Hey, what's up, everybody? In this short video, I'm going over the worst thing to do when building your community, doing an event, doing a challenge. It's something I see way too often, and it's one of those silent killers that kills the group. If you don't know me, my name's Eli Wild. I've been at this game for a while. I was on the road with a guy named Tony Robbins where I did 2 presentations every single day, same presentation, reading the same script 3,400 times, same presentation. And Tony critiqued me on it and really helped me not just follow a script, which you might be doing in your presentations, in your sales calls, but to really understand the nuance and speak into the listening and understand my buyers, understand my audience, to really be able to connect deeper, faster, and put them in what we call the buying state. Now, I'm going to expand on this, a buying state. A state, by the way, is a pattern of focus, a pattern of meaning, and a pattern in physiology. And so if you have somebody that's depressed, well, there's a recipe for that, a pattern of focus, something in the past, a disempowering meaning, and a physiology, not breathing, all up on caffeine or alcohol or whatever it is, these depressants and not breathing, all of that. So these are patterns. Emotions are not things that happen to us. There's something that we do so we can take control of it. Now, what this video is about reverse engineering these states that allow people to feel seen and heard, responsible, able, powerful. And so a lot of times the way that people sell or are doing their presentations or even managing their coaching container is set up to close people down. Quick story, there's a trainer, I'll just mention no names, very, very famous couple of guys, and they would do these trainers, and they came to us for some coaching, and they wanted help on the script and the closing and the transition and the offer and all those things, and we helped them. But specifically, we brought up key moments in these events and these challenges where they lost the audience, where I'm sure you've had this if you've done events or challenges or maybe some online presentation, and somebody asked a dumb question. By the way, what are the chances somebody's going to ask you a dumb question? And they say there are no dumb questions. Some questions are dumb. But it's not so much about the question, it's about how we respond to the question and about how we make people feel. Because what you do to one person in your audience, you do to every person in the audience. And so in this scenario, somebody had asked a question in the chat, and the presenters kind of made fun of this person. They made the person feel stupid, and that just shut down the process of people showing up on camera, like building a community. And I've seen individuals do this even in their paid programs where, they're trying to be funny or whatever, but they kind of make fun of people. And then in that, the engagement dies because people are scared to ask questions. Now, when you do have a program, people come for the content, but also the connection and the community. Content these days, you can get anywhere. The community is why people stay. And so when you're facilitating and building a community, you want to make people feel seen, heard, open, like safe. And so if the facilitator in this case is not doing that, they're less likely to stay and or to buy. And so if you're doing a group presentation or a challenge in order to sell people into your community, well, if they're being like kind of not feeling good here, they're not going to buy the next step. And so you want to make sure that you leave people feeling good. Now, here's a little soundbite for you. I want you to practice this for the next week. Maybe make this, write this on a sticky note, put this somewhere, just make it a reminder when you get asked a silly question. And you're going to get asked a silly question. Say this. And it'll give you a time to, as you're kind of processing the frustration, you'll just automatically say this. Say, wow, that's a great question. I wish more people asked me that. And then it makes people feel like they had a smart question. And now the person becomes more open, even if it's a dumb question. That's the challenge. And say, hey, great question. I wish more people asked me that. And then you could spin off in another way. You could say, say you asked me a silly question. I say, hey, great question. I wish more people actually asked me that. And, when I've explored this with people before, I think what they're really asking is, and then I might ask my own question and reframe their question and just give an answer I've already rehearsed to the question I wanted to answer. And they never notice. So a lot of times too, people even ask questions that have knee-jerk reactions. They're just human. They're just, they're not being dumb. They're not being any of that. They're just following their patterns. And so what we need to understand is that we are not just communicating to the one, we're communicating to the all. But how we communicate to the all in that presentation is done through the one. And so what they're doing is, say you have 1,000 people at your event, they're all getting experience of how you treat people. And if they don't like how you treat one person, they start to, whatever. And they do some things where they're not going to be bought in, not going to be open. And people need to feel smart, resourceful, reasonable, helpful, and open. And as we always say, you can't close people until they're open. Just like in a great page of sales copy, each line has to sell the next line. In your monthly membership, each month needs to sell the next month. In every, part of your 5-day challenge, each day needs to sell them to the next day, and each offer needs to sell them to the next offer. And so what you're doing is, I want you thinking long-term, lifetime value of the client, lifetime value of the relationship, and know that those people know people, and those people know people that know people and know people. And what this comes down to is your character and your reputation. And look, I get it. We all get frustrated by silly questions sometimes. I'm not immune to it. And sometimes you're having one of those days, but to be a professional, you need to have some guardrails. You need to have some ways to process some things that are going to come up in your day, in your life, in your presentations, and know how to handle that better so that people still feel open and will stay with you longer. And I promise you, if you do this, it won't kill your community. You will enhance your community, and more people will show up. And then you'll see even people inside of the community start to help you answer some of these questions, or they begin to get rid of those questions because the community is so strong where they feel safe enough to be able to go deeper within themselves to get the answer. And that's how we all grow. So much love. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.